Welcome to Norman High Student Services. I'm Betty Gibson, one of 4 counselors. We're divided by alphabet, so if you're a junior or senior with the last name whose letters are E through K, then I'm your counselor. We work in teams, and so the second member of my team is Mr. David Gore, Assistant Principal. Mr. Gore does many things, but a couple of his duties, you will be seeing him if you have an attendance problem or for any disciplinary problem that might arise. The third member of our team is Ms. Janie Bickham. She's our secretary. She is the lady who gets all of those early morning phone calls. When you're going to be absent, your parents will call and let her know why. Also, when you've had to see a doctor and need to bring in those physician's notes, Ms. Bickham is the one who will get those. Each of the secretaries will have on her desk a counselor sign-up sheet. We ask that when the students wish to see a counselor, they simply come in, sign the sheet with their name, their ID number, and it has a spot for in reference to, which means just a brief description of what it is you want to see a counselor for. This just helps us budget our time a little bit better. If it's personal, you might just write down personal, and that will let us know we probably need to get you in very soon. We will always try to see you that day or at the latest the next day. I want to take you now into the college career room. Introduce another counselor. I'd like to go over the graduation requirements for you. I know you've heard them 999 times, but let's go for 1,000. First of all, juniors and seniors will need 21 units of credit to graduate. Remember, a unit of credit is a year-length course. A semester is 1/2 unit of credit. Everybody needs 4 years of English, English 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also remember that it's been a long-standing rule that students may not take 2 English courses for credit at the same time. So if you're making up an English deficiency, you need to do that outside of the school day, and you'll need to talk to your own individual counselor about how the best way to do that is. Each of you will need 2 years of science. You'll need 2 years of math. You need 3 total years of social studies, and that breaks down into 1 full year of American history, 1 semester of Oklahoma history, 1 semester of world history, and enough social studies electives to make up the 3. Remember, 21 units for graduation. The counselors keep a work copy of your transcript, but we beg you, we urge you to come into Student Services, look at that transcript if you're uncertain. Keep your own record. Know exactly where you are and what it is you need to graduate. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Stephen Seitz, another one of the counselors.
My name is Stephen Seitz, and I'm the counselor that works with students who have last names R through Z. And I'll also be discussing today the ACT, SAT, the ASVAB, and the PSAT test, which are important to both juniors and seniors. First of all, the ACT and SAT are the college admissions tests that students need to take if they're interested in going to private school, to public universities, and so forth. The ACT is the test that's used primarily here in this region of the United States. If students go to the West Coast, if they go north, or if they go to the East Coast, then they more than likely will need to take the SAT. Now, to determine which tests that you need to take, we have books here in Student Services that you can come in and use. The college admissions data handbooks are available. They describe the college and they tell students which tests they need to take. I would encourage students who don't know if they're undecided about their college to go ahead and take both the ACT and the SAT. That way all options are available to you and you would not miss out on any scholarship opportunities or miss any application deadlines. For seniors, we encourage you to go ahead and take the ACT or SAT or both tests as soon as you can. The reason being that allows you plenty of time for retesting. Another issue that's important for seniors, sometimes you'll have college application deadlines that are due as early as the middle of November or early in December. If you take a test, for example, in October, it takes 4 to 6 weeks to get your scores back. So the bottom line is that application deadline must be coordinated with the testing, so do the testing early. We encourage juniors to take the ACT and or SAT toward the end of their junior year, and the primary reason for this is that they will take the knowledge that they've gained during the course of the year into the test. Registration for both the ACT and SAT are very straightforward. This is an ACT registration packet. These are available in Student Services. Just come in and ask for one. They're very self-explanatory. Students complete these. There are step-by-step instructions that help you go through this process. You then enclose a check with the registration folder, put it in the envelope, and mail it directly to, in this case, ACT, or if you pick up the SAT registration packet, you mail it directly to them. In about 3 to 4 weeks, students receive a registration ticket back. This tells them the details of testing regarding where they need to test, what time they need to be at the testing location, and what to expect the day of testing. Another test that's very important, especially to juniors, is the PSAT. The reason it is important is because it is not only a practice test for the SAT, but it is also the qualifying test for the National Merit Scholars Program. Each year we have a goodly number of students who are eligible to participate in the National Merit Scholars Program, and the way they reach this point is by taking the PSAT during their junior year. So it's very, very important to understand that this test is only offered once during the year, and I'll give some dates here in just a minute, give the date for the testing and for some review. But I want to especially emphasize that the PSAT is only offered once during the year, and if a junior student doesn't take it during that testing, then they cannot compete in the National Merit Scholars Competition. Okay, this year the PSAT is going to be offered on Saturday, October the 21st. The testing is done here at Norman High School, and generally it takes all of the morning from 8 o'clock until about 12 noon. The registration is also done here at Norman High School. You don't mail anything off. You do that with Mrs. Walker, who is our financial secretary, and she is in the administrative office complex. The registration fee is $8, and at the time of registration, students receive a registration bulletin that gives them the details about what to expect on the test. There's a practice test in it and other information about the National Merit Scholars Program. Later in the year, in November, as a matter of fact, we're going to be offering the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. This is a aptitude battery that allows students to see what areas they have natural inclination in, and they can correlate that then to the career market to see what areas they might want to pursue as a profession. Again, it's called the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. As the specifics become available to us in Student Services, we will advertise this in the student bulletin and give you the dates and the registration process. It's very straightforward. Students come into Student Services. They sign up with Mrs. Warner. At that time, they will receive registration information. It is a free test. There is no fee associated with this. And the profile that they get back indicating their scores is very good because it correlates not only with the vocations within the armed services, but also vocations outside the armed services. Students quite often ask if there are things that they can do to enhance their scores on these different tests, and the answer to that is yes. There are different reviews and materials that are available both here at Norman High School and through different agencies outside Norman High School that students can use to bring their scores up quite significantly. I'm going to mention some of these. One, for example, is the PSAT review that the Assistance League of Norman sponsors. Juniors will be receiving a flyer in the mail. I would encourage them to register for this review. It's a nominal fee, $15, and I think the book this year is about 10 of that. So really it's a real inexpensive program for them. The PSAT review will be held on Thursday, October the 5th, and again on Saturday, October 7th. And just to reiterate, the test is going to be on October the 21st, so that gives students plenty of time to study and then prepare for the test, be ready for the test on October 21st. The PSAT review will be held here at Norman High School. There are also some review seminars that are available for students to sign up for the ACT and the SAT. One of those for the ACT is going to be done here at Norman High School the day The 2 days that we're out for teachers' meetings, those dates are October the 19th and October 20th. The cost is $30, and students may register here at Norman High School or receive information regarding registration for those particular sessions. We also get information about the ACT review seminars that are held at the University of Oklahoma. Students can come into Student Services. We will provide that information to them, and their program is $60, I believe. We have a computer in Student Services called the GIS. We also have a program that's available in the GIS specifically to help students who are wanting to prepare for the SAT. Students are welcome to come in before school, during lunch, or after school and use the GIS computer and the SAT tutorial program at their convenience, and counselors will be glad to help them get started with that. In closing, I would like to mention that some students get confused when they register for a review and they believe that they're registering for the test itself. Be sure you understand that the review is in and of itself and the test is a separate item. So whenever you register for the review, you also need to be sure to register for either the ACT, the SAT, or the PSAT.
Hi, I'm Christy Merriman, and I'm the counselor for letters A to D. My major area of emphasis is college and career information, and that's where we are, in the college and career room. We have many books that can help you find out information about any of the colleges that you might possibly be interested in. We have several guides like this that are out for your use, like the Peterson's Guide. We also have the GIS four-year college guide, and we have the college admissions data books. So these are all here for you to use anytime you come in. We also, back here, have a group of all of the college catalogs and brochures from different colleges that send them to us from across the country. And these are for you to come into this room and just look at. We try to keep applications and view books of most of the colleges that are the ones that most of our students attend in the college and career room for you to use. As an example, right here we have OSU's application and guidebook, and you can just come into Student Services and pick up one of these anytime you want to apply. And we will have OU's and the others soon. We also have the GIS computer right over here, and it gives you college and career information. There is a part of this that is an interest inventory that can give you a personal profile of your self-reported interests and abilities, and then it gives you a series of about 120 questions for you to answer. It takes all of that information and develops a list of careers that seem to fit what you have said about yourself as your interests and abilities. From that, you can take those careers and find out more about each one. You can find out what is the outlook for that career up to the year 2000, what is the starting salary, what is the what are the college or educational requirements, what training is needed for that particular career, and whether or not it's a career that is used in the immediate area of Oklahoma or if you have to go someplace else. It also can give you an address where you can find more information about the career. From there, it can take you through four-year colleges, two-year colleges, through financial aids, through military service careers, and through graduate and professional schools. So we have a lot of information on the guidance information system. What you need to do if you're interested in doing a personal search is to come in and sign up on the GIS computer sign-up sheet and just put your name and the hour that you want to use it, and then come in to Student Services at that time, and either your counselor or we'll have a parent volunteer who will be able to work with you. Any of the results that you want to save, you can use the printer to save them. Now there's one more section of the College and Career Room that I want to point out to you, and it's right over here. In this file cabinet, we have information about colleges all over the state of Oklahoma. That's in the top drawer. And in the bottom 3 drawers, we have them from around the country. So any of the information within these file folders, you can feel free to take out of the folders if you want to.
Hello, I'm Dennis McDonald. My letters, the alphabet, are L through Q, so students with those last names that begin with those letters would need to see me about anything that you'd end up hearing student services about. I want to talk to you about scholarships and financial aid for a while. Financial aid is a big bad word to a lot of people because they don't really know what it means, what it involves, and how you go about doing it. Okay, here at Norman High, I've got that streamlined pretty much, so I can tell you, and your counselors can talk to you about exactly what you do to make sure you're covering all the bases in your pursuit of scholarships and financial aid. First of all, there's really just 2 kinds. You run into a lot of terms when it has to do with scholarships, but there's really just 2 that are important. One is financial need. That's simply money that you might be awarded from the federal government based on your family's income. It's a formula situation. You fill out one of these 2 forms right here, the FAF or the FFS. Those forms will be in this area right over here at the end of November or so. You cannot even fill those out and mail them until after January 1st because it's simply based on your income for 1989. But that's strictly financial need. It has nothing to do with ACT or grade point or where you're going to college or anything. If you have need, you're helped out by the government. If you do not have need, then you're pretty much on your own. And that's where the talent part would come in. The other side of financial aid is some talent that you might be awarded a scholarship for. That can be anything from an athletic ability, high ACT score, good grades, leadership qualities, ability in music on a particular instrument or voice. That's generally what I mean by talent. It's not financial need. It's something that you're able to do very well, and some university somewhere is willing to pay you money to come there and do that. And that's where the scholarship file comes in. I have 2 drawers that I'm using on these scholarships. As these scholarships come in, and there's about 200 a year that I got, I break them down into 2 drawers. The top drawer here are scholarships that will apply to specific colleges or universities. For example, you will find the Oklahoma University Scholars Program application in here. That's an academic merit scholarship. It could be a music scholarship to Vanderbilt. It could be a nomination scholarship to Trinity that we get every year. So anything that's specifically oriented to a college or university, you would look in this top drawer. The bottom drawer, the second drawer actually in this cabinet, are scholarships that will be used anywhere you go to college. You can apply for all of them as long as you meet the eligibility requirements. You just need to read the description. If you fulfill the eligibility requirements, then apply. It's as simple as that, and this is where you'll find the applications. This, again, it's some kind of a talent. It's ability to write an essay. We have a couple of those every year. It could be the Elks Club scholarship that's looking for an all-around candidate that makes good grades, that has a good ACT score, that's a leader in several different areas. So that's the way I organize the scholarships that come to me in this school. These 2 drawers, top drawer, university-oriented, bottom drawer, it doesn't matter where you go. If you apply, win one, you take it with you. Now, where you're going to find out about these scholarships will be your senior English class. I post lists. As I get enough of these scholarships, through the year I'm going to be putting lists in the senior English class. There's going to be an orange poster, there probably is right now, in every senior English class, plus the Aegis rooms. And I'm posting the scholarship list on that orange poster in your English class. You can read about it, find out which ones you're interested in. Come in here anytime you want, before school, lunch, after school, release time, 6th hour, whenever you can get in here. Just simply pull out the application and off you go. You have everything you need to apply. Okay, that's the Financial Needs Scholarship, FAF or FFS, and the scholarship file. Those are the two main sources as far as actual applications that you can get here at Norman High School. Christy Merriman mentioned the GIS computer over here. It has a scholarship file on it that you're going to want to use. It's real simple to use. You simply tell the computer the characteristics that you have, and then it cranks out a list of scholarships that you appear to be eligible for with an address to write to get the application. Another key source for you, including juniors, I'm talking about juniors and seniors at this point, will be the school bulletin. Especially for juniors, that's really your only source, because there just aren't too many through the year where the juniors will find in here. But you pay attention to the bulletin. Everybody in the school at this point, listen to the bulletin, because I post these things in the bulletins. If your teacher reads it, you hear about it. A lot of teachers will post them. Just be sure you pay attention in that bulletin, because that's a source. That's really my only source for me contacting you as a group. Okay, I can't emphasize for juniors enough. A junior could sure go into any senior English class and look at this list, but most of them will be senior-oriented. So listen to the bulletin. That's where juniors will find out about this. Again, for juniors, there are two main scholarships that come along at the end of your year, your junior year, every year. They are the Military Academy scholarship appointments. In the spring of this year, your junior year, you need to begin working on that, and I'll get information in the bulletin in the spring about that. The other scholarship is the ROTC, Military Scholarship to Specific Schools. Actually, if you win one, it doesn't matter where you go. As long as you go to a university that has a ROTC program, you take it with you. But again, in the spring of your junior year is when that begins. To get the first cut, the end of September is when the first cut comes on those. But you start that process back in the spring of your junior year. Also, be sure you're taking the ACT and the SAT tests. Mr. Seitz talked about those in length, but just about every application you're going to fill out from these two drawers, or from a specific university, just whatever it is, except the financial need ones, they're going to ask you what your ACT score is, what your SAT score is. Many scholarships have a lot to do with what you made on that test, as well as grade point and other things. But be sure you get the test taken at the end of your junior year, and for you seniors, you need to be taking them again right around now. Take them a couple times at least, so you're getting your best score. Okay, I want you to take a look at this table here in front of me. In addition to the applications that will actually appear in your senior English classes and then you pick up here, I have these resources for you. I won't go through them all, but you can see, I think, that there's quite a few. Not that, that's mine. Quite a few books here you can check out from me. All you need to do is come in, ask me about these scholarship books, and at that point I'll be able to point these out to you and go into detail. One of them you can actually check out and take home. The rest of them are individual copies, so I've got to hang on to them. But you can check them out, take them out to our center office here, and sit down, go through them, find scholarships that you're interested in, and then mail off for them and get the application. You'll be doing that a lot. You'll be writing to an address in these books, and they'll send you an application. Key thing on all this is deadline. You've got to look at the deadline, back up, and give yourself plenty of time to get that application filled out and back to them by the deadline. Okay, if you do scholarships right, if you are doing this right, and you're doing everything that you can do, you're sick to death of doing scholarship applications in about 4 or 5 months. That's how you know if you're doing it right. You're filling out so many that you've had it, but you keep doing it. It's like a part-time job, and you're not sure you're going to get paid for it until that first scholarship comes in. But it could be a really good way to make quite a bit of money to go to college. Okay, 2 other things here. Each one of your counselors has this sheet. It's a form that lists everything I've talked about and more about where to find scholarships. What you should do as a senior in high school to ensure that you get every chance to make as much money as you can to go to college. And that's what you're doing. You're making money. It's like a job. Each counselor has one of these, so consult your counselor. They'll give you this, and they can go over it with you so that there's no doubt about what you should be doing your senior year. Also, quickly and finally, this sheet right here is what we use for recommendations. Your counselor will be writing recommendations for you, chances are, and it could be for scholarships, it can be for college recommendations, for college admissions. Give your counselor 2 weeks to write that recommendation. So at the point where you get the application, you realize that it's due at a certain date, back up 2 weeks, go to your counselor, talk to them. They'll give you this sheet. It tells us about you, and then we contact some of your teachers, and we're able to write a good recommendation. But please give us 2 weeks. It's really critical for us. All right, quickly, that's how things work in the scholarship room, and this is the college scholarship room. This is pretty much where you can find anything you need to know. At this point, we're going to go back out into the office area and introduce you to each team. There's 4 teams, and it consists of 1 counselor, 1 assistant principal, and a secretary. And we each work with this group of alphabetical students, and I think you ought to take a look at who these people are that you'll be working with.
Working with letters R to Z, Assistant Principal Kay Long, Pat Warner, Secretary, and Stephen Seitz, Counselor. Letters L to Q, Sally Riley, Assistant Principal, Anna Sue Brule, Secretary, and Dennis McDonald, Counselor. Working with letters A to D, Christy Merriman, Counselor, Sandy Collins, Assistant Principal, and Bobby Lasher, Secretary.